clone MS Word. Whoa, wow, look at that. A full MS Word clone. Okay, what about create a game similar to Candy Crush? Oh, this is amazing. It even got all the textures. Okay, what about create a global disease prevalence map? Holy smoke, look at this. So, what is this new AI that can do all of this?
Today, we're taking a look at a new open source model called Kimi-K2 Thinking. I'm going to put it to the test with some really complex prompts to see if it can build full applications from scratch, like a clone of Microsoft Word, a few games, and even a detailed data visualization map. We'll see what it's good at, where it struggles, and how it stacks up against some of the other top AI models out there. Let's get started.
All right, so if you want to try this out yourself, you can just head over to kimi.com. I'll also leave a link down in the description. Once you get to the site, the first thing you want to do is make sure you have the K2 model selected. Then you'll need to enable the thinking mode to unlock its full agentic capabilities. With that set up, we're ready to go.
For my first prompt, I wanted to try something challenging, so I asked it to clone MS Word and put everything in a single HTML file. Let's go ahead and click Generate. You can see it's now in thinking mode. It looks like it has finished, but that's a bit strange. Instead of giving me the code, it just gave me a list of all the features it claims to have created for the MS Word clone. Since I told it to give me the code, this isn't what I wanted, so I followed up and just asked, where is the code? Let's see, and there we go. Now it's providing the HTML. Okay, let me click on the preview to see what it looks like. And there it is, a welcome screen for an MS Word clone.
The preview window is a little small to test everything properly, so what I'm going to do is copy the entire code, paste it into a text editor, and save it as an HTML file. Now let's open that file in the browser to get the full screen view.
All right, here is our fully functional MS Word clone. Let's see if all the features actually work. I'll start by clicking the bold button and typing something. Yep, you can see the text is bold. And try italic, that works too. And now underline, perfect.
What about this S button? It looks like it's for strike through, and it does exactly that. Very cool. Let me deselect these and try some other features. Let's check the font selection. That seems to be working. The paragraph alignment tools also work. Here it is aligned to the right, and here it is in the center. This one justifies the text. The different heading styles are also functional, and it even has options for code blocks and quotes.
Now let's test the Find and Replace feature. I'll search for the word boy and replace it with guy. Let's click Replace All, and you can see it work perfectly. Finally, let's see if the Save function works. I'll click the Save button, and it just downloaded the document as an HTML file. That's really impressive. It seems like Kimi-K2 is pretty good at creating these kinds of medium-level applications.
Next, let's see if it can create a simple game. I'm going to ask it to try creating a casino-style machine or a spinning wheel that gives a lucky win. The wheel should include the top 10 AI companies. Use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Put everything in a single HTML file. Let's click Generate. Okay, it looks like it's done. Let's open the preview and see the result.
Right away, I can see a problem. I asked for the top 10 AI companies, but if I count them, there are only about 6 or 7 on this wheel. So it failed to follow that specific instruction.
But let's at least see if the game itself works. I'll click Spin the Wheel, and it looks like we landed on Tesla AI. So the spinning mechanic is functional. Now, just to give you some context, here are the results I got from Gemini 2.5 Pro and Minimax M2 for the exact same prompt. As you can see, Kimi's result is visually the most impressive, even if it didn't get the number of companies right. It's a shame, because if it had just included all 10 companies, this would have been a perfect score.
All right, for the next test, let's try something more visual. I'm prompting it to create a visual simulation of our solar system. Make it as detailed as possible. Use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to do it. Put everything in a single file. Let's generate it. Okay, it's finished. I'll copy the code and open it in a new browser tab to see it clearly. At first glance, it looks pretty good with the moving planets and stars. However, the planets don't seem to be following their orbits correctly. They're just drifting around. Let's see what the controls do. If I click Show Orbits, the orbit lines disappear and reappear.
Show labels adds the names of the planets, which is helpful. I can also zoom in and out. The focus on sun button works, centering the view on the sun. The pause button also seems to work, but I notice some of the background stars are still moving, which is a small bug. If I increase the animation speed, the planets move faster, but their movement still seems off track. Overall, while it looks nice, the simulation itself isn't accurate, so I'd say this one is a fail.
Now for another game. This time, I'm asking it to create a game similar to Candy Crush. Let's see what it comes up with.
Okay, it's done. I'll click preview. Wow, this looks really good. It even has textures for the candies and fruits. Let me open this in a new tab for a better look. We've got a scoreboard, a move counter, and the level. Let's try playing it.
I'll swap these two candies, and it works. It recognized the match and updated the score. The animations and textures look great. Now let's test the other buttons. If I click hint, it just tells me to try swapping candies, but doesn't actually show me a possible move. So the hint feature is a fail. What about shuffle? I'll click it a few times, and yes, the board shuffles perfectly. Let me just play through the rest of the game quickly to see what happens when the moves run out. And there we go, game over with the final score. This is a total pass. Almost everything works perfectly.
One area where Kimi-K2 is supposed to be really strong is agentic searching, which means it can use tools to find and process information on its own. So for this last test, I'm giving it a complex research task. Analyze the most common diseases around the world on a map. Use different colors for each disease. Make the color darker if a lot of people in a country have that disease. The map should show all 6 continents excluding Antarctica and include data for all countries. Use free tools to make it happen. Let's generate that.
Okay, it's finished. And as you can see, it used its search tool to find information. Let's look at the preview. Wow. Okay, this is impressive. It has created an interactive global disease prevalence map.
By default, it's showing data for cardiovascular disease. The darker the brown, the higher the prevalence rate. If I hover over a country like the USA, it shows me the specific rate. If I click it, a pop-up confirms the data. Let's check Italy, which looks darker, and yes, the rate is higher. Now, let's switch to other diseases. Here's the map for cancer. The color switched to purple, and you can see how the prevalence changes. If I check Canada, it shows me the rate. Now, for diabetes, the map turns yellow, and it looks like Egypt has the highest rate. What about respiratory infections? The map is now blue, and again, Egypt seems to be the highest. This is amazing. Let's try malaria. The map turns green, and it correctly identifies Ethiopia as having a high prevalence.
Finally, let's check HIV/AIDS. For some reason, it's not showing any data or colors for this one, so that part seems to have failed. But overall, this is incredibly powerful. The way it automatically searched for data and visualized it on an interactive map is just fantastic. On their website, Kimi's creators claim it can execute up to 300 sequential tool calls without any human help, which is what we just saw with that map. Looking at their benchmarks, we can see why.
In agentic reasoning on a benchmark called Humanity's Last Exam, which uses expert-level questions, Kimi-K2 Thinking scores first, beating both GPT-5 and Claude 4.5.
It's a similar story in agentic search. On the BrowseCom benchmark, Kimi-K2 is far ahead of both GPT-5 and Claude. The same is true for this other search benchmark, where it also takes the top spot. This really shows how powerful its search and tool using abilities are.
However, when it comes to coding, the results are more mixed. On the multilingual coding benchmark, Claude 4.5 is actually at the top, followed by Kimi-K2 and then GPT-5. On the SWE bench, which is for software engineering, Claude is again number 1, but this time GPT-5 comes in second and Kimi-K2 is third. So while it's a strong coder, it doesn't quite lead the pack in these specific tests.
So that's it for my testing of Kimi-K2 Thinking. We've seen it build some impressive applications like the MS Word clone and the disease map, and it's clear that its biggest strength is its ability to use tools and search the web to complete complex tasks. It definitely outperforms many other models in that area. However, we also saw its limitations. It sometimes fails to follow very specific instructions, like including 10 companies on the spinning wheel or creating an accurate solar system simulation.
So what about you? What kind of things have you tried on it? Tell me your interesting prompts in the comments. I will definitely include them when I try out the next big AI, maybe Gemini 3.0, since it's expected to be released in late November or December. So write your prompts, I'm counting on you. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and hitting the bell. Thank you for watching. Until next time, folks.